What's up, everybody? I probably need to explain myself now why I'm talking to you in front of a camera instead of behind a microphone. Okay, so this entire series of videos started because I wanted to get myself back in the swing of making videos. That was the entire point, to remind myself of the joy, like why I enjoy making these to begin with. The problem is I severely underestimated what it takes out of you to make videos on a daily basis, to produce that kind of review, super edited and recorded content day after day after day. Mistakes have been made. I did not have footage for a lot of these games. I didn't have anything set up in terms of scripts. Like, none of these were made in advance. This was a spur-of-the-moment thing I decided to do, and that led to me having to stay up long nights to record the footage after the fact, like writing up a new script, coming up with the jokes, editing that all together, on top of doing live streams as well. Just the stress of having to make something like that every single day is enormous. Something had to change. Like, I had one of two options here. Either I would end it all together, which, forget that, okay? I promised you guys 25 videos and I'm still gonna make 25 videos. But if they continue going the way they are, something like this is going to happen.
I'm Princess Priscilla Painwheel!
And in the interest of none of you having to see that, I'm going to be changing up the format of these until the 18th. I just need to knock these out very quickly. I need to get them done ahead of time so that I can produce the final 8, which are the important ones, at a reasonable pace, to do them right, to give them justice, make sure they're not rushed or the quality isn't dropping or anything like that. So, yeah, that's where I'm standing right now. Like, this is for the best, trust me. Like, doing the videos the way I was not okay mentally. Like, I'd have moments where I would just freak out. I was lacking any kind of motivation, and this way, hopefully, I can get the best of both worlds. I can make these in a timely manner and put them out on time at hours when people are actually awake, and I don't have to break my promise. So, here we go. What's today's game again? Yes, Klonoa 2, Lunatia's Veil. You know, I've said before in my console list that the PS2 was pretty much one of my absolute favorite platforms for video games of all time. It's given me so many good memories. Like, PS2 games probably make up the most of my collection. Like, here, let me grab a couple of them. I'll just put these down here so that they're not in the way for the whole video. Nope, stay stable. Don't you quit on me. And it's not just quantity either, it's quality too. Like, some of these games I have sunk countless hours into, and Klonoa 2 is one of them. You wouldn't think it is either. Like, it's a platformer. How invested can you get into a particular world? What would drive you to spend that much time in it, to replay stages again and again and again? Especially coming from somebody who has said numerous times that he doesn't like doing the same stuff over again. Which, actually that in itself is kind of an ironic little statement now that I think about it. Okay, but if I bring that discussion back on track, the thing that keeps driving me back to Klonoa 2 is that, and this is a theme you're probably going to find a lot with me, is it's just inherently satisfying to play. It's sort of, Hat in Time has the same thing going for it. It's just fun to do. I think that comes down to a number of different factors, actually. I mean, yes, Klonoa himself does control very satisfyingly, and his control scheme, like the entire concept behind it of picking up enemies and using them for several different purposes, is a really cool mechanic. It actually reminds me a lot of Kirby 64 in some ways, which, if I may go off on a tangent for a second, the fact, a lot of people don't know that. Like, if you hold certain enemies above your head in their raw base form in that game, they do different things, but Klonoa took that to the nth level, like the enemies that shoot you upwards if they're electric, or some that give you powers like being able to fly or float around, and I love when the game plays around with that. But the propeller enemy is just so colorful and floaty and loose, and the little, whatever they are, the moos I think they're called, the red guys, how they float up and their eyes are still kind of bugged out, and they got a little smile. There's just this sense of whimsy, this fun factor to the game that really complements the very simple controls and yet the very cool ways they expand on it. Like, it starts good, it starts colorful, and it just keeps getting better as it goes. And then you'll have moments in a stage where some stages aren't even platforming. You might be going down a hill on a surfboard, or you might catch a ride on an eagle, or something might happen like that. I mean, it's not all bright and sunshine. Like, Klonoa 2 gets really, really dark sometimes. There are themes going on here and levels that happen here, especially later in the game, that really stuck with me at that age. They hit me at a point in my life where I was ready to be impressed. I had never seen anything like that before. It lulls you in, it catches you off guard, like you're already in love with this world and these characters, and then really serious stuff starts happening and you're like, oh, it hits you much more strongly because you've already set yourself up mentally. You're vulnerable. They've got you. They've got their emotional hooks just buried so deep inside you. It's a huge roller coaster like that, and that just makes it all the better. And of course, the music is absolutely fantastic. I can actually name some of the tunes off the top of my head. Not their names, but the levels they're attached to. Baguji's theme is really good. Lolo's theme is really good. Vort, I think, is the name of the city, the really industrial, like, fire-themed place you go to. There's the Hall of Mirrors that you go to, and I keep mentioning things, and it makes me want to talk about a particular thing, but I'm saving that for the end here. And, of course, the Ark. The Ark, which is not only one of the biggest levels in the entire game, one of the coolest levels in the entire game. You can make an entire video dissecting that one level, picking it apart for all of the cool things it does here and there, and hey, maybe I will one of these days. But I've already got too many sub-series going on. That's like a Game Maker's Toolkit type of thing. I'll leave it to the master, Mark Brown. My niche is video game music. That's the stuff that really makes me nerd out. And there are so many themes in this game that trigger that kind of response. A lot of them, it knows when to really ratchet up the tension. It knows how to set atmosphere. That's the big one, is atmosphere, is what this game hits right on the head, especially when I'm thinking of the Ark theme. It's just so ambient and calming, and it sets the tone. You know exactly how you're supposed to feel about that stage. You get a sense of the place. This is what I think music is supposed to do, is it communicates a story without a single word. You know the entire personality of the level just from listening to the soundtrack in the background, and Klonoa 2 just does such a good job of that in every single stage. Like Joyland, when those trumpets start blaring in, wham, wham, ba ba da ba ba. It just, you know exactly what to expect. You know, if the fireworks and the tents and the fact that they actually let you play some carnival games at the beginning there wasn't enough of a tip-off already. Yeah, this world's just got so much charm to it. There are very few things in it that don't make me smile, even if it's sort of a bittersweet thing. The characters just have so much life to them. They're not even just one-note tropes either. They've got different aspects, like how Kat is working against you and she's loyal to her master, or I guess mistress in this case. This is the downside to improv. But she also kind of has a crush on Klonoa, and that evolves as the game goes on, like that relationship between the two of them. Like, she starts going through her own little journey, like, do I actually like this guy? Is this just a passing thing? What does this mean for myself as a character as I go forward? Everyone goes through something like that, which brings me to the one thing that I kept alluding to over the course of this video, which is Lolo.
Lola.
Which even just saying it like that just makes me smile, makes me really giddy and happy. This character by herself, you know, it's kind of funny. Somebody brought up in the comments in one of the previous videos, I think it was Crush, where they said, hey Fnu, you've got a thing for redheads, don't you? And, well, looking at this list, spoiler alert, Lolo isn't even the last one that's going to show up, so yeah, maybe. I think I might. But don't you look at me like that either. I was 12 at the time, okay? It wasn't weird then. This is how I was raised. I can explain the whole liking clumsy girls thing if you don't understand it. It's just how I was raised, is to do the best for the people around me. So when I see her getting way too excited and tripping over herself, my first instinct is to just hold my hand out and offer her, like, can I help you back up? That's just how I'm wired as a person. And her voice is adorable, her face is adorable, but her backstory certainly isn't. Everybody in this game has a story, and hers just, because she's the one who's always there, the one who makes all of this possible. Like, without a priestess, without somebody living inside that ring, Klonoa can't do the things he's doing. So she worms her way into your heart, and then, again, bad things start happening to her. You realize she's not exactly a perfect person. When you start learning more and more about this character, like seeing her true face and some of the mistakes she's made over the course of her life, it makes you understand why things are happening to her the way they are, but you can't help but feel sad for her at the same time. Again, this game just takes you up and down and all over the place, to wonderful vistas with amazing music and characters packed in every single corner, like bosses themselves who just won't leave you alone, that keep coming back. I have to be really careful with my words because I don't want to give away too much. I don't want to explain away, ruin for you some of the better twists and turns this game takes you on, but yeah, just go play it for yourself. It's not that hard to find. I think it's actually on PlayStation Network. If it's not, you'll see something right down here at the bottom. But, yeah. That's Klonoa 2. Man, is that game a ride.